This topic means so much to me in my midlife journey and how I discovered myself and fell in love with the woman in the mirror. But most of us were taught that color is like a rule book. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard of color analysis or like winter, spring, summer, all that stuff. And so you've probably heard someone say, "Oh, you're a winter," or "And you can't wear that color. That's terrible because you're that particular palette." Stick to your palette, right? And where some of those things do make sense, don't get me wrong, but no one's really talking about how your personal coloring changes as you age. Your hair will go gray, your skin goes a little dull, and so your contrast will change. And a lot of that color analysis is based on your contrasting between your hair color, your eye color, your skin color, and all of those things. And so even colors that you have loved wearing in the past may feel suddenly off as those changes are taking place. And so if you've ever put on an outfit that technically should work, but you still felt a little dull or tired looking, just not like yourself, you're not really imagining things. And so we're going to be addressing that because today, we're not talking about color in this seasonal analysis way. So, we're not talking spring, summer, fall, winter. But honestly, for a lot of midlife women, I'm sort of tempted to toss all of that out the window because of what we're going to talk about today. Because, first of all, do we really need that stress? The fashion stress. But we're going to be covering something that I think is personally way more powerful and way more personal for you. And that's how color affects your mood and your spirit. Because color isn't just flattering. I mean, there's a lot of colors out there that could be flattering, but aren't really the color you should wear for that day. In color, it's really just a cue, right? So, have you ever seen the emotional wheel or the color wheel done with the emotions? That is there for a reason. And so we'll get into it more. But you can have colors that calm you down or lift you up or make you feel bold or safe or playful or completely drained, really. And so I did make a simple worksheet for all of you for this episode, and it'll help you identify those colors that genuinely make you feel like yourself again. And getting dressed in the morning will stop feeling like a chore and start feeling like fun. And so go grab that worksheet in the Facebook group. Let's go ahead and now talk about how to choose the colors that help you feel better from the inside out. Before we jump in, if we haven't met, I'm Michelle. Hello. I'm a health and beauty strategist for Christian midlife women. And my sweet spot is helping women stop hiding and feeling invisible and start showing up again in their lives, in their skin, in their strength, in their style, and honestly for their life and their calling as well, right? Because if you feel good in the way you look, you show up better in your life and your calling. And so I just want to tell you why I care so much about this topic of fashion because it's quite personal for me. And everybody has their journey, right? When it comes to shedding the shame of aging. And for some women, it starts with the scale and losing weight and eating healthy. And other women's, it might be their skincare. And for others, it could be their energy and their strength and working on their hormones. But for me, it started with my closet. I didn't know I was dressing to hide until I looked back later and realized that my closet was basically like 50 shades of "Don't look at me," right? It was gray. There was gray everywhere, and so I guess at the time, it was safe and neutral for me, but it did make me feel invisible, which was one of the things that really bothered me in that season, was that nobody could see me, and so when I look back at those pictures from that season, I feel a lot of sadness for that girl, right? Because I can see it now, but I didn't know it then. She didn't know that she was picking clothes that were going to make her hidden and tired and worn out, right? She was quite confused about who she was and where she was trying to go. She was doing what a lot of us do, right? When we're uncertain, and that is we try to disappear, to get somewhere safe. And so then I joined a fashion program. And here's what really surprised me. I discovered I'm actually a bold and dynamic woman. And at the time, I was sheltered and hidden and very closed off. So I had no idea that really my identity as a daughter of the king was bold and dynamic. And so I didn't believe it at first, right? In fact, I was like, that really can't be me. And I tried other things, but I did start trying on colors anyway, just kind of experimenting to be curious. And something really shifted. And when I began to wear those bolder colors, I began to feel alive again. I started to trust myself again. It felt more authentic, and I was able to be honest with myself in a way that showed up on the outside where I could be more honest with others as well. And I had no idea. So I was able to stop hiding. And for what felt like for the first time in my life, my adult life, I just had no idea what authenticity really felt like. My outside matched what God was waking up on my inside. And so here's the wild part. Um, it wasn't only emotional. Like, this showed up physically for me, and there was a lot of intangible changes, right? My motivation improved, my energy increased, my health got better, because I wasn't constantly shrinking back from my life. So yeah, that's why I'm super passionate about fashion. So, for some people, fashion, when they think about someone who really cares about fashion, it may feel like a shallow thing. But as I described to you my story, you can now see that it's not a shallow thing for me at all. In fact, it carries so much more depth about who is in front of me and what the clothes they're wearing means to them and what they mean to me when I put them on every morning, right? And so I see it as a tool and a signal to my brain and your brain and body about who you are or who I am and how we want to walk out this next season of our lives. And truly helping women find that spark again through style and fashion is one of my favorite things to do with a client. So now that you know the heart behind what we're doing today, I do want to go ahead and jump in because seasonal analysis is where they really do help. I don't want to portray that they don't, but they ask a question of what colors look best on you. And I like to look at it in a different way so that there's a different perspective behind not just what looks good on me, but the question I like to ask is what colors help you to feel like you again? Or what colors do you need to wear today to show up the way you want to today? Right? So it's more of a psychology aspect of the colors because in your 20s and 30s, a lot of us dressed for survival and belonging, right? You're building your life, you're proving yourself, keeping up, fitting in, figuring out where you belong, right? Where you stand. And without even realizing it, your clothes become a way to blend in, right? To stay safe, to not draw attention to yourself or to try to look like whatever the cool standard is in that season. And so in the season that I was wearing gray, that's what was in. Everybody that was esteemed just had this flowy, heathered t-shirts and this and that. And where those are magnificent on the right type of person, they were wrong for me in that season. And so that's where I come from because midlife is different than when we were in our 20s and our 30s. Because in our 40s and 50s, you're not trying to become someone, you're trying to come back to yourself. And you're more settled in who you are and you know who you're not. And so that means you don't actually have to dress to match or impress the cool kids anymore, right? And so now you get to do something better. You get to build a signature style, which is so much fun. And that's why color matters so much in this season because color isn't just about looking cute, even though that is a part of it. It's a tool. It can support your mood and your confidence, your energy, right? How you carry yourself in rooms that God is calling you to walk into. So instead of asking, what's my season? You're going to be asking, like, what do I need today? Right? Do I need to feel lifted or grounded or calm or bold and clear? So now I want to make things super simple and practical for you because instead of getting stuck in what's my color season, the analysis, I want you to think in 4 color buckets. And here's the point. You're not picking a personality. So I don't want you to think through the color buckets as a personality, right? I want you to think about what color and mood do you need to support what you need that day. Okay. Because color doesn't really sit on top of your body. It lands your mood and lays a foundation. It shifts how you carry yourself. And I'm going to get way deeper into that in a moment. But the best part about having 4 buckets is a lot of us carry a little bit of all 4 buckets in our closet already, right? So you're just learning which piece you need for that season of your life for today. So that's why one day you can look at your closet and feel like I have nothing to wear. And then the next day you put on something and it's exactly what you needed to wear, right? So let's talk about those 4 color buckets. Number 1 is lift and light. This is the bucket that feels like a breath of fresh air, right? It's hope, it's energy, it's joy coming back online if you've carried some sadness with you. And so white is going to be your base neutral color here. So when you take the colors of the rainbow at their basic color, just 1 drop of white all the way to 100 drops of white is what creates this color palette. So you have quite a large palette, as you can imagine here. These are the colors you reach for when you want to feel more awake and optimistic and bright and hopeful for the day. Okay. Number 2 color bucket is calm and comfort. This bucket is really steady. It's peaceful, it's graceful and flowing. It's like the exhale of tension and energy. And so gray is your base neutral here. So you're going to take the colors of the rainbow as the base colors that they are, and 1 drop to 100 drops of gray is what gives you your color palette. So all of those heather t-shirts and everything are perfect for this, right? This is what you wear when your nervous system needs to slow down and take a breath, right? And then the 3rd color palette is dynamic and rich. This is depth, it's warmth, it's substance. It feels very rooted and radiant at the same time. So brown is your base neutral here. So again, 1 drop of brown all the way to 100 drops of brown in that base color palette is what's going to give you. So all of those like Merlots and just the rich in-depth colors. This bucket is what you grab for when you want to feel more womanly, more present, more layers to your personality without apologizing for them. So it's very strong personality. And then number 4 is the bold and classic bucket. This is strong, black and white, no gray, but confident and timeless, right? And so black is going to be your neutral base color here. But in this case, you're not adding black to the colors. You're basically that base color palette is your color palette. You can mix, say, red and yellow and get orange and things like that. But that's your color palette. You wear this when you need to feel anchored. And you need to feel powerful and you're walking into a room and you need authority, right? This is that color palette. And I really believe that this matters because God designed us as a whole woman, body, mind, and spirit. So when we talk about color, we're not just talking about what looks nice. right? We're talking about what shifts something inside of you. And I heard the clearest example of, and it was kind of random in a conversation the other day. I had complimented an older man on a color he was wearing. He was wearing green. And I expected him just to kind of say, "Oh, thanks," right? But instead, he goes to tell me, "I don't wear red." And I'm thinking, okay, that's a very strong opinion about a color. So I went ahead and asked him why. I was just curious about it. And he said someone had bought him a pair of red pajama pants for the holidays and he wore them to bed. And that night he had all kinds of dreams about war and fighting, which he said had never happened to him before, by the way. And so he woke up and thought, nope, red's not for me and I'm never going to wear red again. And listen, whether we can explain that scientifically or spiritually or emotionally, here's what we can't ignore. Some colors don't just change how you look, right? They change how you feel. And here's the question I want you thinking about while we go through all of this. Like, which bucket do you naturally live in on a daily basis? Right? And which bucket do you need more of right now to support you? And the quick reminder is you don't have to overhaul your entire closet here to start doing this. You already have a little bit of all four buckets in your closet, but color does work best when it's near your face. So when you're starting and you need that support color or you need your true home at home color, you could start with things close to your face, right? A scarf, a shirt, earrings, lipstick, even your glasses, the frames. So as we keep going, you can use the worksheet to start listing the colors that lift you, calm you, enrich you, strengthen you, right? Because this is how you start building that signature style that supports the woman you are now and the woman you are becoming. And so this is where it gets really fun because we're going to now make this really personal for you. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick two buckets. And I'm not saying forever. I'm just saying, like today, if you were to pick two buckets, what do you need, right? This is just a starting point. So you've got your home bucket. This is the one that feels like you on a good day. This is the one that you naturally gravitate towards when you're not overthinking things. Because I will tell you, when I work with my clients, there's always a season where you overthink things. So don't worry about that. But when you wear it, you feel like, yes, this is me, right? And then the next one I want you to pick is a support bucket. This is the bucket you need more of right now in your current season. It's the one that's going to help you show up in the mood and energy that you actually want. Because some seasons of life kind of require something different, don't they? Some require comfort, boldness, or just lightness if it's been a hard season you're coming off of. Some require a lot more depth because you're having to make a lot of decisions about things that will give long-term effect. And so you're going to start with building a list of colors that lift you, calm you, make you feel grounded, ones that make you feel strong and clear. Okay. And most important, I want you to notate also the colors that drain you. And I want you to trust yourself, trust what you already know to be true about yourself when you choose these colors. Okay. I don't know if you've ever heard someone say about when someone's picking out a wedding dress, it's usually the first one that you fell in love with. And then often we go shopping to see what else is out there. And so I want you to stick with the first one that comes to mind when you are thinking the one that feels home, supportive, and what drains you. You're going to know what colors wash you out. Just pay attention. What colors do you feel tense when you put them on? And some colors make people feel like they're wearing a costume. I think some people look amazing in yellow and orange. It just reminds me of sunshine and happiness. But when I put them on, I feel like I'm wearing a costume. Okay. And so those things matter when you are honest with yourself here. And we're all moving towards authenticity and trust and honesty with yourself. And so if you have a color that makes you feel really tall, it makes you want to smile, it makes you feel more like yourself, like that matters too, okay? Because we're not dressing for approval anymore. We're totally dressing with intention and alignment for who you are. And in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and show you a simple way to test the color without buying a whole new wardrobe because um, I don't want you to waste money on trying to discover these things. And if you want extra help, please reach out to me, Michelle at michelledayrose.com. I'm happy to help you with this. But when you've created your list of colors from your home list, your support list, you're going to do a simple test without feeling like, again, you have to buy a whole new wardrobe or feel overwhelmed or pull it out on your bed and make a big fat mess. But you're going to take that color and put it really close to your face. All right. And I suggest you take a photo because sometimes when we're looking in a mirror, we're not able to see what we can see when we're looking at a photo and we can compare colors. I've taken clients where I've taken those four base colors and I've put them up against them with a picture in the camera and some put bags under their eyes and some made their skin look ruddy. And then some made them look like they were happy and alive. And it was all taken seconds apart from each other. So that's also a very good way to do a color test. But when you look at what's working and not working with your color test, I want you to kind of do a quick check-in with yourself and ask yourself, like, do I feel more alive or invisible? Like, do I feel more peaceful or more irritated? Do I feel more confident or more self-conscious? I will tell you, it doesn't matter if it's the perfect fit or whatever. If there's something about it that makes you feel self-conscious, discard it. It will sit in your closet and you'll never wear it. It'll be a waste of your money. And then I want you to ask yourself, do I feel tired or look tired or do I look and feel more energized? Okay. And that's it. That's how the color test works, right? So that right there is your midlife color seasonal analysis. And remember, you can have all four buckets in your closet because you're building a signature style that supports the woman you are now, right? So there may be some days that you really do need to put on the color that you may not wear all the time. It may not be what is home for you, but it may be what you need for that day. So the next time you're standing in front of your closet, kind of thinking like, why do I feel so off and blah, right? Don't ask like what colors look best on you. Ask what colors help you feel like you again. And if you'd like to work with me personally, you can email me, Michelle at michelledayrose.com and set up a coaching session and start dressing in a way that helps you shine and feel like the woman that you are and God designed you to be. And next week, we're going to be doing something completely different, having a fun conversation with my dear friend, Diane Laba. We're going to be talking about relationships with men, but not in the way you've ever heard before. I can almost guarantee it. So if you have a husband, a son, if you work with men as coworkers, you're really going to want to tune in on this one. Same time next week, bring a friend even. And until then, go pick out the color that helps you feel like yourself again and wear it on purpose and get into the Facebook group and snap a photo and share it with us. Cause I cannot wait to see how this different perspective brings life back into your wardrobe.